Yuchel Rishis, that only if you want. It says Habet Penny. So it's a mitzvah that if somebody asks you for money, you should lend him money. And it's even a bigger mitzvah than giving tzedukah, because tzedukah, the guy is lowering himself as coming to you and ask that he doesn't have. And in this case, it's in a more mechibedige way. But the best way to lend money, as we're going to soon, is only if you have an urav. And there's 3 types of co-makers. The best way is if you get an urav, because if you get an urav, you'll avoid what we're going to say soon. And there's 3 types of co-makers. There's one urav that you go first to the loiva, and then if the loiva doesn't have, you go to the co-maker. Then there's called an urav kablan, that you could go either or. So it doesn't matter. You could go to the loiva first, or you could go to the co-maker first. And then there's another urav. They go straight to the urav, not even to the loiva. And if this is the best case. Why? Because the pusik says Losia loy kanoisha. If you know that you borrowed money from somebody and the guy doesn't have money to pay you back, not only that you are not allowed to ask him for the money, if you see him on the street, you have to go on the other side in the street, not to embarrass him that he doesn't want to pay you. That's how harsh it is, that if you know that he doesn't have the money. But in the circumstance, if you have an urav that can go straight to the urav, you could avoid this, and then you can go to the urav straight to collect the money. Then you don't have the isra flasila kanoisha, because you're not going to the loiva, you're going straight to the urav.
So go to the urav without even going to the...
Yes. So only...
What if neither of them have money?
If not have the isra is only on the loiva, no sila kanoisha. If the urav somehow went down the drain, that's money, there's no isra, because you didn't lend him the money. It's only that he took responsibility, which in a way he is stronger, because he took such a strong responsibility that even if the loiva, you don't have to go to the loiva first, you go straight to him. So this is why it's suggested, Mr. Schwartz, if you want to give somebody a loan, get a co-maker. Because if you get not a plain co-maker, get a co-maker, you go straight to the co-maker before you go to the loiva. Like this you avoid...
Co-signer heißt es.
A co-signer, yeah. A co-maker, urav, whatever you want to call it.
The co-maker is nothing.
A co-maker? They called it a urav.
It's a co-signer. Today's day, it's called co-signer.
Yeah, but it's called co-maker. This is what it's called.
The borrower on a note is called the maker of the note.
It's called the what?
It's called the maker of the note.
Oh, the co-maker.
No.
Oh, she's always right.
No, listen. Now, if you know, but even if he has no money, but if he has metaltalin, if he has jewelry, if he has silver pieces, even if he has no physical money, then you are allowed to ask him for the metaltalin, and you are allowed to ask him for the jewelry, what he has.
The borrower and the co-maker.
Yes, but not from clothing from the wife and clothing from the kids. Even their brand new clothing that wasn't worn and it was put away for Yontiv that's coming to be, but because it was designated for the wife and for the kids and it's not from the loiva, then you cannot take away the money from the metaltalin that's from karkios. You could take off karka, but first you go to metaltalin and then you go to the karka. So if the guy owns money, and there, if you're talking about karka, it's very important today that if you open it's over the stream. Like today, it has for shulam. When a person gets older and he needs to go to a nursing home, you are an attorney, so you know you should put your karka on a trust. Because if you put your karka on a trust, then the nursing home or the hospital cannot go after you and take away the metaltalin. So for a guy, the same thing goes. Now I know today's 5 years. It used to be 2 years, but they're up to the 5 years. But in a way, it's good also for the loiva. You mentioned about karkas. If the loiva has karka, so he should be smart. If he wants to outsmart the system, as they call it, he should put his house on a trust. So if the loiva puts his house on a trust, he can't collect from his karka because it's not his anymore. Put in the trust. So it's and all over the place. Tom's River too. Ask Mr. Schwartz. He'll tell you. He's an attorney. Today, if you don't do it, you lose your pants. Because if you owe money to the hospital or anybody, they have a right to take away your kaka. But if you put it in the trust, you avoid it. So we have 2 things to do. First, we say we go to a call maker, and then if you have karka, the only thing you can't get away with is metalton. If you have silver and gold, even if you don't have cash, and the time comes to pay up the loan, and you don't have to make any blood, you could collect it from the metalton that you have. As I said further. Now, even if the malva is a rich guy and he doesn't need the money, we don't have rechmunas of the loyden. If you borrow the money, even if the malva doesn't need it, the malva has a right to go and mitcha and nudja to have money if he knows that the money is there, or if he knows that has a kaka. Again, if you know for sure.
This is the right. So.
Yes, if you know that if he knows money is lo siyah lekanoisha. And then it's always better if the pusik says bechitz tamoid. If you go to the bezin and you have the bezin has to go to the house to pick up the money, you have to stand outside and they go in to take the money. And also has to be with a shvia. But if you know for the fact that the guy doesn't have money, but you still want to lower him, and I want to go to the bezin and make sure I know he doesn't have money, but I want to go through the process of swearing. You're not allowed to do that because that's embarrassing the person, and you know that the guy has money. It's called shviyas shav, because if you know that the guy doesn't have the money, why be mechayiv him a shviya? The shviya is only if the guy is a ramai and you don't know for sure, then you make for shviya that it's going to get away with it, that he doesn't have to pay. But if the bezin knows and you know for a fact that he doesn't have money, but I still want him to go through the process of making a shviyah, this is really technical a shviyah shav.
But what if you know he doesn't have money, but you want to be mezares him to go?
Also not, because if the guy doesn't have money, he can't give you. Make the shviyah when you'll find out. This is really a shviyah shav. Because what is the point of shviyah? That he has to tell you that he doesn't have money.
No, not to be mechayiv him shvua. Just to be mezares him to go find the money.
No.
It
says that he doesn't have to go out and borrow money. Even stronger. When he has metaltalin, right? And you're going to want to take away the metaltalin, and he's going to say, you know what, sir? I would love to give you the metaltalin, but please have mercy on me, because this metaltalin I put away collateral for a mafia guy that I owe him money, that in case I don't pay him back, he's going to come to take the collateral that's signed over to him. So I need this collateral for the mafia guy. So the lucha is, you cannot say that you need the collateral for the mafia guy. You have to give the collateral. It's like first come, first serve. Like if he owes money for 5 people, and the same collateral he put for 5 people, whoever was the smartest or the quickest way to get it out, he gets it first. And then the lucha is, if the mafia guy is going to come and is going to say that if you don't, where's the collateral that I gave you, then we have to go and Sheila make an appeal. This is called Pidgin Shvil.
He's asking a different shal, which I had also once.
That
the person is working, but you can be with him. He can maybe take an extra job, or in Marcus,
They can make extra effort.
His wife can go to work. I have a shocking, get money for a chasna, and I didn't pay it.
Get off his can. He's sitting on the couch, doing
okay, if he said then absolutely. If he said it, but we talk about
the connection. Right now, he doesn't have money, so.
Yeah, but you could tell him, go, I'm not asking you for money, but do me a favor, find a job so you could pay me.
Yeah,
But
you still can't make him get it, bring a
it's not sure, but the most important thing, which is a very interesting halacha, that even he had the collateral down for somebody that's a mafia guy, and you're afraid that if I don't give him the money, they're gonna come and he's gonna terrorize me. Still, you could take it, and then when the guy will come, you're going to come to this shield. We have good people over here, and you say, Rabbi Shai, it's Atzulas Nefushes.
Secured collateral?
It's really, huh?
Is it secured collateral?
No, it's called Metalton.
No. Is the metalton secured to the mafia guy?
It's not secure, because the guy says, I have.
What if it's secured?
Also, even if it's secured,
Then
it
the
says.
mafia is going to come after the mava.
So we're gonna go to the shield, and we're gonna exactly. We're gonna have to do 2 of
We all know
them.
what's happening. Okay.
Yeah. Now again, even the guy is rich, even the mouth is rich. Time to comes back. Man, don't forget. We don't want to close the doors for people that they shouldn't lend money. We want everybody to lend money. Now, there also such thing as Shavita de Reblusen. If Reuven owes money for Shimon $100, and then Levi owes money for Shimon, we could go to the third party and take it back to the first party. It's called Shavita de Reblusen. If I owe you $100 and you have $100. But what we cannot do, We cannot lend money on rivers. If we lend money on rivers, we are over on 6 lav. 6 people, 6 times it says in the Torah that you are over. And not the malvi is over, the loive is over, the soifer that writes a star is over, and the co-maker is over. But the difference is the guy who is over the most is the malva. It says like this: Lesashik leochichu, eskaspcho lesita loi beneshech, al tikach ma'ita nesech v'sarvish, loi sesimen ulav neshech, v'lifne iva lesita michshel, which is in this week's parsha, iva lesita michshel. But the loive is only over of 2, of lesashik leochichu, because he's giving back the ribbas, or lifne iva. He makes that the malva should be over of ribbas because he's taking the loan for the malva. So the loive is over on 2 ribbas. But there are a few little scenarios. Last time we spoke what you're not allowed, but there's a few things that you can do. For instance, if I have my credit card, we know that we cannot borrow money on the credit card because if there's interest involved. But everybody knows today that they give you points. But if you take money from me on my credit card, I will get, let's say, 10,000 points. And the 10,000 points is technically worth money because you could sell the points and get a penny and a half for a point, or you get a free ticket. This is not considered rivers. Why? Because rivers is only called when it goes direct from the malva to the loiva. This way, it doesn't go from the malva to the loiva. The bank is that gives you the points, not the malva gives you the points. So this is 100% okay that if you take money...
Even the Rabbanan?
Yes, because the livers is only from malva to loiva, loiva to malva. The points is not that I'm giving you. It's not a payment. It's something that I'm getting a benefit from the bank. So it doesn't matter.
But if he's making payments, if they're charging you, no, I'm just saying, it's important. If they're charging you interest,
then it's...
and he's making the payment, and it's your card, then it is a problem.
It's a big problem.
That's a big problem.
I
just want to clarify.
Yes, that is a big problem. Why? Because the bank gives the money to me, not you. And not only, the problem even goes a step further. Even if you pay back the money on time, when you pay back the money on time, there's no ribbas. If you take money from your credit card, if you pay back when the due date is, there's no ribbas. But if you don't pay back to the due date, there is ribbas. So that means that when you take the loan, there is ribbas in place already because they're going to charge you whatever it is. But you could avoid it by paying it back on time.
The points are fine.
And the points are fine. Points like a tchila, there's not a problem. And
Sorry, only by halva, or could ribbis be by payment? Like you have some people that get paid tuition reimbursement, let's say 10% on top of their salary. So the employee is charging interest. For every dollar you pay me, you owe me another 10%.
That's ribas deraisa. It's ribas kitzitza. Anything that goes by like that when you pay me later, even when you sell somebody and you take that if you don't pay me in 30 days.
What's the case again?
You have an employee that gets tuition reimbursement. 10% of every dollar that you give them $100, they get $10 more to tuition reimbursement. So you pay them $200, now you give
Who are you giving
$20.
Who are you giving the $10
to the employee benefits. I don't know if it goes straight to the school or whatever. It's
But the employer's paying the school,
the employer's paying the school.
and who's getting the 10%?
Who's gaining the 10%? The employee.
No, that's
That's
no
part
issue.
of bonus.
There's no issue. There's no issue in that. There's no issue in that. There's no issue. It's not about. I'll tell you another interesting things. We all know about gift cards, right? You go into a store. This is also 100% okay. You go into a store. They said if you give me $80, you could shop for 100. It's it should be a problem because you technically getting 80. Right? And you're giving back 100. We know why it's okay? Only one way. Because you could take the voucher and buy for it this minute. If he says that you could only buy in 6 months from now, that's ribas. Because that means that you're getting 80 and the store is getting 100. But if he gives it to you in intensive, that you should buy me, it's like giving him a 20% discount. Even though you give him $80 and you could shop for 100, if for instance you could only shop for 100 next week, or for the next yontif, or for the next season, or when I'm going to get in my stuff, that's ribas. Because you're giving 80 and you're going to shop for 100. But if the gift card is for 80 and you could shop for 100, and you could shop this minute, as soon as they get the gift card, there's no shala. It's just like you're getting a 20%.
What's the difference?
Difference, I'll explain again the difference. If you get $80, the store gives you, Ben Barber wants you to buy a custom shirt for Yom Tov. But Yom Tov,
Listen, you started.
Yeah.
but this is a good example now. Why?
Yeah, Ben Barber
because
wants
Ben
that.
Barber wants it, but you know what? Yom Tov is not, Pesach was just now.
Right.
I don't want a new shirt now because but I want a new
If I
shirt.
give you a gift
But let me finish this.
Well, let me explain the case.
This is a very good
He
point.
wants to
I'm
know
happy
the, he
that-
understands the case. The child
Let
wants
me
the
explain
difference.
what the difference is. It's now after Pesach, right? I don't need a new shirt. Your father just gave me a beautiful shirt. But
Give a certificate. What do you mean that? New shirt?
I just bought a shirt. I don't need to
same
buy
thing.
another
I
shirt
got
now. But now I'm gonna get a gift certificate from your father for $80, but I could buy a shirt for $100. Why is your father doing it? Because he wants to go now and make new designs, and he has to pay upfront for new designs. He has to pay upfront for the material. Shipping costs went up 500%, and he wants money now. So then you're gonna say, if I give you $80, you're gonna come to me, buy me a shirt for Sukkot, because for Sukkot you're gonna want a new shirt with your name on it also.
So that's ribbon?
So that is not ribas. Why? Because
In a year from now, that's what I'm asking.
also not ribas. Why? Because if I could go to your father now and redeem the $80 for $100,
At any time.
At any time,
That's why it's not.
correct. If the gift certificate is, if you give me $80 now and I can only redeem it for sukkahs, that's ribas, because that means I'm giving 80, I'm getting 100. But if because I could redeem the certificate this minute as we speak, there's no.
Why is it
That's
different?
what I'm saying. What's the difference between
Because
The difference is, it's like your father gave you a
He's saying one's a
discount.
discount, the other's not.
One's a discount, it's a discount. It's not a loan. You know when it's usher, if your father's gonna say that give me the $80, but you can only use the certificate for Yom Tov, for Shavuos, or for Sikkahs, because that means I can't do it now. But if I could use it now, it's like he gave me off 20. Most people won't use it now because they want a new shirt now. Either they're gonna lose weight, either they're gonna gain weight. So they're gonna want to go with the size.
Why isn't it a matana? Why does it have to be held up? Why can't it be that Ben Barber is giving them a ton of $20?
It's a discount. The discount to Matana is the same thing.
So why is it considered?
Yes, why does it change if he's
I'm
telling
giving
you
him
you
a
can't
ton
use
of
it?
that on Sukkot, you could buy a shirt.
Every
I'm not
ribbis
giving
you could ask that.
Every also a matana is meter only up to 5%. Let's assume like when a Talmud Chochem, a two Talmud Chochem, one gives money to another, and when they paid back, so there's a little bit more money. You say it's not ribas, they gave it to matana. Why? Because the Talmud Chochem knows that you're not allowed to borrow ribas and you're not allowed to get ribas. But it's only limit says only up to a fifth. Like in other words, if you borrow $100, give back 105, it's okay. It's not ribas, they gave it to matuna. It says especially out. I'll show it to you. It says especially out that it's called the matuna. But if it's something bigger than that, then it's a problem from ribas.
You're saying if it's more than 5%, it's a problem.
Correct.
Okay, that's a side note. He was asking something else.
What?
Why is it always that the customer is taking?
Sorry. Yeah.
No, there's nothing shit.
No. Okay. What do you say?
Why is it that the customer is taking ribas from the merchant? Why can't it be that the merchant is giving them a ton of 20%
It's
off?
the same thing. It's the same thing. But the only problem is he could only give him 20% off now. But if you give him $80 and you can't use the $100 gift certificate now, it's not he can't use that's ribas. Correct. It's not. It doesn't matter. But you can't. This is called ribas. This is ribas. Anything that's not cash now and it's cash later is called ribas.
That's exactly that's a typical case of ribas. Every ribas.
This is ribas. Every ribas.
Every ribas can be a matana.
The time it has to be right away, immediate, as he says, right away. If
Just right away.
just the answer is right away.
Anything further than right away is not considered a matana.
Correct. It's called ribas.
So you're saying a gift card.
A gift card. If I can't use the gift card now, I could only use it later, and it's not for the face value of the gift card. It's ribas.
Even 5%?
Even
Even if on the
5%.
card
Because
it
the
says valid through a whole year?
valid means that valid from now.
From now to the whole
It
year?
has to be now.
Beyond the deadline.
Correct. You know, if it starts, it's valid from 30 days from now till a year, which is a problem already. Because the ribas is for the 30 days. It has to be valid from the minute I get the card, and there's no expiration date.
All the coupons we get from like DJ.
All the coupons that you get that are,
valid and starting 2 weeks from now.
if it's from Eid, it's a problem. No, the gift card is okay, but the gift card is
stuff.
the coupons is okay.
$20 is the problem. Not the
No, the problem is the extra $20 from 80 to 100. The coupon is not a problem. You can get a gift card from any Yiddish store that you could use in 30 days. It's not ribas because you're getting the gift card of the face value of whatever the gift card is.
He said he comes back after a year.
This world.
He's like, don't worry about it.
That's his choice to do. He could give them a tune. That's not ribas.
Once the owner says it's
One,
good,
yeah, that's not his choice. But the most important thing is if the money you could use now,
What if you have to activate the card before you can use it?
it's also okay because you activate it this minute.
Takes time to activate.
No, it's your decision. And it's supposed you only can activate it in a month from now. You're going to say that it's a problem because I didn't activate it in a month.
I don't want to say half the words.
It's something that goes up to you. It's long it's not to somebody else that it's okay.
Yeah, fire.
What did you want to say, Rabbi?
I love you.
Thank you. Another thing. Let's assume we know I have a knecht, an Eved, and we know that an Eved everybody has, you borrow money, I borrow money from my Eved or I borrow money from my wife. And what happened was, my wife just made a shidduch, so she has more money than me. Okay?
Yeah, that heck is
Okay.
aim it to life. That's the
And then what happens was, is when the Bismashachre the Eved, then it's Chiev b'mitzvahs. So what happens when he goes, he takes the loan, or he takes money from his wife? What happens if he divorces the wife? Or then the Bismashachre the Eved. So then depends. If the loan was due before he became a Yid, or before this, then there's no shal of ribas. But if she divorced, or if it was B'shachar gewend Eved, when it wasn't due yet, then you cannot take the ribas. Why? Because you shouldn't say that you were Shachar the Eved or to divorce it to avoid the ribas. So this is the difference. Because we know Mashakuna Eved and Mashakuna Baal is yours. But for the wife, it's only the money that she made after you got married. But we know that next to Tzoyin Bar, the money that she brings me before she got into marriage, that is her money forever. In other words, even if you take money, your land, and there's a divorce afterwards, it's her money. You can never take away money. This is called Nechs Tzoyin Bar. The money that's Mashakuna Eved Kuna Baal, Mashakuna Baal Kunish is only money that was made after the wedding, not money that you bought in before. And from an almana, doesn't matter if she's a rich almana or from another almana, you never take a mashke from an almana because the Torah says, especially for almana loy sachaba, you cannot take a mashke, or you cannot take collateral, you cannot take any for the money. If she doesn't pay, this is one of the Torah says that you have to be more lenient, that you cannot go take away from the almana.
Almana is every age, like if we a 90-year-old.
It doesn't say the chilik which age. Once it says almana is any age.
But Yisayim is a limit, right?
Yisayim till they get either married, either 18, or there's another shita when they don't if they're self-dependent. If they start at an early age, they don't live at home anymore, and they go out to work, and they're the own babus. It's different stages. Sometimes a boy starts at 18, and sometimes you have to be an adult, and sometimes it depends if they're still dependent on the parent, even if they're older. But if they still live by the parent and they don't cook anything, they don't do any laundry, they're still everything the parents does, they're still considered being in the parents' rishis. And again, if somebody borrows money for somebody, it doesn't matter if it's a rich guy or poor guy. When it comes to take the collateral out of the house, you have to go to Bezin. You cannot go into the house because it says b'chitz tamoy that you have to stand outside. You are not allowed to go into the house. You have to be outside.
Then you don't have I'm palpable yet.
Yeah, but sometimes you could, he comes with a beautiful talis about the shield that's worth $500, then you can take it. He comes with cufflinks that's worth $2,000, have a seher, siman, finish that. He comes with beautiful thread glasses, so it comes with their money. So make sure that the metaltalin that you have,
Keep it inside.
leave it inside, don't show it off, otherwise you're jeopardizing it.
Those are from you.
Yeah.
And also, you cannot take away stuff that it needs for parnasa. If somebody, let's say, is a bookbinder, a contractor, klei if it's a drill or if it's a hammer, even if he has two, because he says that I need both. Something that, even if it's worth a lot of money, but if you know that he's using it, you cannot take it away because that's his parnasa. And then you're killing yourself, because if you're going to take away, you have zero chance of getting back your money because he's not going to have money. So you want to have money how to pay it back to you.
It's like breaking his legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if somebody borrows money on ribas, you don't give malchus. Why? Because you could masakin it, because you could give it back. And the din is, if somebody wrote ribas on a star, and you wrote out Baruch bit chaktana, that I'm going to give you 20% on your loan, and the loiva took the money because he had no choice. He knew he's oiber on ribas. He figured somehow he'll get it back. You could go to the Torah, even though there is a star, and the loiva committed by signing, even if you sign with ayin that will pay you back the 20%. The halukha is moitzian oiser. Even if he paid it, and even if he signed it, the malva has a chiyuv to give back the money to the loiva. The bezin has to pass like that because he took it without permission. He took it that he wasn't allowed to take it. Even they signed for it, but it was against the Torah, so moitzian oiser. If it's uber krivas is not ribas ketitza like ribas edemis, then once it's done, he doesn't have to give it back. But if he gives it back, riach hachum noich hameni. The chum have hanua, but you cannot force it to give it back. The only way you could force it if it's ribetz ketzitza.
This number was like Lisbon.
It is ribetz because they give it back.
I'm saying it's not right.
Yes.
What's that say to give it back? What's that called?
Hushef teshiva loy. Or like this.
Doesn't say that by
Yeah, but it's still by giving it back. You gave it back. It's first of all you could call it gezela. It's called tshuva. This is called tshuva. By giving it back, it's called tshuva because you corrected the mistake that you did. You did tshuva. And you're talking about tshuva if a person wasn't from and he borrowed somebody on ribas, the halacha is he's not from, so he didn't keep the mitzvahs and he died. So the children don't have to give back the rib from the malva. The malva was not from. The malva is not from. But they said like this: if he borrowed something that's recognizable, that it's his stuff, then you should give it. Then you should give it. Yes, but if it's money and this, you don't have to give it back. And then if you became from, you should give it back because then you have to give it back. A father to children or children to father, even though it's allowed to borrow with ribas because it goes in more begay de matuna. Because a father wants to give to a child and a child wants to give to father, you should refrain from doing it because the person's going to get the feeling of getting ribbas and is get used to it, then he's going to start doing it. At first he's going to say a cousin is a zoevi tata, a chaver is like a father, he's always going to find his lupas. He loves me more than my father doesn't even love me so much, so I'm sure he give it to me. He will always find loopholes where to go that it's going to be ahead to get it. So that's why even from a father to a son and a son to a father, we shouldn't do it. We shouldn't get used to it. Yeah. I said it's very easy to find today. No, give money to kids. Yeah, but not with ribas. Not with ribas. Don't get them used to it. They should take ribas. Now, if somebody gets money from somebody on the money that's not worth it.
He had his line every single one. It's okay.
If somebody gives money to somebody, let's say Ukrainian money that's very devaluated here, or you could go to the money and you have to he has to redeem it. And if it's a ma'ay v'layam, he has to go ma'ay v'layam to redeem the money. Let's put it like this. We all want people should borrow money. We all want, it's a mitzvah to borrow money, but people have to know, unfortunately, the only excuse we can have if the guy takanebech is lo yitzlach, if the guy takanebech does neb, then we see like we shouldn't borrow it. And on the other hand, we don't want to close the doors for malvas, that if somebody's in desperate need for money, with all these tricks, we really don't want that the person shouldn't borrow. But the person should have an acharayas and all. I would say, if you borrow money for somebody, do not drive a fancy car, don't go on lavish vacation. Yes, you're allowed to go out to I would say to a fast food restaurant you could go, but not to a Syrian restaurant where you spend $175 for a steak. You know, you can't restrict him from not living a normal life, but not live a lavish life. Don't go on vacation off Mangeld. You want to make sure that people should be happy. You want to make sure that if it's a mitzvah, that if you need money, I should be able to offer you help. And if you're going to see that the way acts in such a way, then bet you people will come and offer him money. Say, you're struggling now, here, take it, when you'll pay me back. But on the other hand also, we don't want people to buy ribbas. And all the people, the money of ribbas, I said last time, is a shalet. What's called heter iska? What's the touch of iska? Iska touch business. To take money to go on a lavish vacation, to take money to buy a fancy thing, it's not even haluchadik osgarten. But that's why people do it, because they say, if I don't take the money this way, I'll take it, yank it out from my business, and then my business will go down. It's like this. And ribbas is very, very, very strong. It says in the Chus of Mismoiten, and I personally know a lot of people used to give hard loan for people, and then in the end they lose. Any normal person knows that if you want to pay logic much more than the bank, something is wrong. Otherwise you would have gone someplace else. Yeah, the teretz is a real estate deal, the bank doesn't want to give me, I need it for quick, I need it for 30 days, I need it for 60 days, alles fine boiling it. But the Malva should know that it's risky, and the Malva should know that it has to be done 100% according with the Iska, the way it's supposed to be.
Okay.
All right.
Shkoya.
Shkoya.